Hey guys, one more time another video on the Inside Spurs channel. Happy Monday morning. Hope everyone's all right. Hope everyone's okay and looking after themselves. Obviously, good weekend for Spurs in terms of the Premier League. Obviously, back Wednesday night against Manchester City in the Premier League. So we'll be doing the preview for that game. We're going to also be looking at some transfer news surrounding Manor Solomon, Angel Gomes. I'm going to call it out early doors, a bit of a bogus report surrounding Leroy Sane. And yeah, just a bit of an update surrounding those sort of things. There's a few things I actually want to talk about today. So yeah, we'll get in and talk about it. So I hope everyone's all right. Morning Spurs, morning D's, Jake, Sonia, how are we all? I'll be talking about Haaland in just a second because we'll sort of see what the situation is with one alien Erling Haaland. But I'm going to start with a little bit of transfer news, and I'm going to start with Leroy Sane. Yeah, right. Well, let's just get into it. So Leroy Sane, if you're not aware, okay, Leroy Sane's contract expires this summer, okay? So Fichajes, or Fichajes, if you want to be more English, Tottenham Hotspur chairman Daniel Levy is trying to take advantage of Leroy Sane's contract situation and bring him to Spurs as a free agent for the summer. Spurs have already engaged with Sane's representatives. This season, across the Bundesliga, Champions League, and the DFB Pokal, he's played 31 times, 8 goals, 3 assists, so 11 goal contributions, 1 in every 3. He is 29. He's not long turned 29, but he's 29. And look, I'm going to be real with everyone here because I just want to see. Yeah, okay, perfect. This is going to help me. Leroy Sane, right? I really rate Leroy Sane. I think he's a really good player. Leroy Sane is crazy expensive. Crazily expensive. Okay, I'll show you in a second. Steve, Matt, Donna, no, how are we all? His weekly wage supposedly is around about 280,000 a week. Spurs are not touching that with a 20-foot pole. Spurs will offer him half of that and go, hey, we're going to offer you 140,000 a week. How does that sound? He's like, what? I'm on double that at the moment. He's going to want something similar to that. And Spurs won't do that. They just won't. They just won't do that. Sane is a no from me just on age. Well, that's the thing is him being 29, right? He's still going to be good for a few years. He is. But in reality, he's going to cost a lot of money. And yes, you get him on a free. And I get you would save a little bit of money there. We've got our own fans saying, get rid of Heung-min Son. Get rid of Heung-min Son. He's rubbish. He's past it. He's average. He's everything that you would say. That's pretty bonkers for you to say such a thing. So Heung-min Son, to give you a bit of an update, right? He is he's 32. He'll be 33 in the summer. Okay, so he's a little bit older than Leroy Sane. This season, in 4 more games, he's got 2 more goals and 7 more assists. Heung-min Son, in 35 games, has 20 goal contributions. Now, I get told quite often that Heung-min Son's rubbish. Good Lord, if he's getting 20 goal contributions in 35 games, then pretty much all of the Premier League is absolutely crap. Argue with yourself in the mirror. Sonny's not crap. If you think he is, like I said, argue yourself in the mirror. Because stats are stats, and it shows you that he's not. And if he's having to play 3 times a week at 32, nearly 33 years old, I'm not surprised he's maybe going to drop off every now and then in a game. Because there's people that are 21, 22, 23 that can't play 3 times a week and have consistent level of high performances. So, yeah, look, Sane, maybe a couple of years ago, I'd have been really I would have loved him. He'd have been a fantastic player. But even watching him this season, it's really weird watching Bayern, and I watch Bayern a lot actually because like they start at 2:30, so you think, well, I'll get a few minutes of Bayern in before I have to watch 3 p.m.s or whatever. Elise and Musiala behind Kane are their two best players in terms of the attack, right? Then you've got Gnabry, yeah, got Kingsley Coman, not as good anymore. And you've got Leroy Sane. And then between the three of them, it's, it's a sort of a revolving door. Not one of them has sort of dominated and locked down a position, whereas Elise and Musiala are, when it comes to big games, the starters. So it says a lot, really. It says a lot. So, for me, I think this is a move on and skip, personally. Move on and skip. Brian and Buemo, yeah. Joshua, how are you, mate? Lee Sane is a right winger. That's true. Hey, Sean, how are you, mate? You're all right. You're not that late. You're all good. Sonny was amazing on Saturday. Yeah, it's funny. Son had a week rest and was really good. It's something like, I don't often get things right, to be honest. I probably would say I get the majority of things wrong. This is the only one that I can categorically put my hat on and say, I'm right. Once a week, Sonny is probably still our best attacker. But like I'm saying, it's once a week. And if we can keep him once a week with, the occasional maybe 60 minutes in the week, or if you're playing him back-to-back games of 60 minutes, fine. But like I said, if you're asking Heung-min Son to play 3 times a week when Mikey Moore has missed time and a lot of it this season, Odegaard the same, Werner the same, Johnson the same. Son has stayed fitter than all of those guys. That says a lot as well, The gaffer said unplayable. He was unplayable. Couldn't get near him. Moving on from that, though, because we've got a couple of little bits surrounding some other players. Let's start with old Manor Solomon down at Leeds United. Gimme Sport, sorry, saying that Tottenham are now willing to sell Manor Solomon in the summer transfer window, with Leeds United and Everton, two sides that are showing interest. And I wouldn't be surprised if that list actually grows to a few others. Maybe someone else comes up from the Championship. They might be all over him. It's sort of, according to sources, Tottenham are willing to offload Solomon in the summer transfer window. The early indications are that they would be open to him leaving for anywhere between 10 to 15 million pounds. And I probably say that is quite fair. I don't think, we'd be asking for anything more than that. I also don't think we should be asking anything less than 10 million, because in reality, he's having a really strong season this year. He's 25. He'll be 26 in the summer, so he'll be hitting just that sweet spot of his prime. Spurs have him on a contract until 2028 as well, so you got to factor that in. But we talk about, Son, 35 games, 20 goal contributions. Manor Solomon, across 28 games of the Championship and the FA Cup, he's got 15 goal contributions. If you take away the FA Cup, in 26 games, he's got 14 goal contributions. So he's having a really strong season at Leeds. When we do the loan roundup on every single Tuesday, he's one of the more positive ones that we talk about. And it's ironic, when we think about Leeds last year with Joe Rodon, that was one of the positive ones that we did on the loan roundup. This is no different. He has value. You can sell that. You can sell Manor Solomon. He has value. And you speak to, I speak to Leeds fans fairly often, actually, and they say he may not be our best option when it comes to the wings, but he has been recently one of our best options. And I said, well, how much would you really, if let's say Leeds were to buy him, what realistically would you reckon is a fair price? And they said somewhere between 10 and 15 million. That report is bang on with that. I think you can get 10 million for him. Absolutely. Obviously, there's still a long way left of this season. Still got a few months left. Things can change, and his form can drop off the face of the earth, and he's rubbish, and Leeds don't want him. He could end up going on and maybe get. What was it that I said he's on? Sorry, he's on 7 goals, 7 assists. Maybe he ends up with 12 and 10. 22 goal contributions in the league. You'd be going, yeah, that's pretty damn solid. That's a player that you can get some money out of. And I think you can. He's hitting his prime. All those things come into it. You also have to factor in the build-up is better to Son when the team is at full strength. There may not just be a once a week Son. Also that. Seeing Leeds looking to buy Solomon, which would be great. Well, you beat me to it. What's your thoughts about the rumours that United want Son in the summer? He's not an idiot. He wouldn't do such a thing. So look, there's that a little bit on Manor Solomon. I think he's one that Spurs do cash in on this summer. It makes a little bit too much sense, if I'm honest. get the money, move him on. And do you know what, as well? When we think about the summer transfer windows, and when you think about transfer windows where you need to move off of players, think about last summer where we moved off of a big chunk and we didn't get enough done because, ironically, there was still so much to do. And they got so much of it done. There was still more to be done. Sergio Reguilon, he should have been gone. He should have just been gone like an Ndombele. Why was he still at Spurs? I don't know. When we think of this summer coming, you think of Brian Hill, you think of Manor Solomon. You got a lot of those guys out on loan. What are you going to do with some of those guys? And there's a lot of decisions that still need to be made this summer. I talk about Basuma being 1 year left on his contract come the summertime. Bentancur being the same. Obviously, Werner will be gone and Reguilon will be gone. Those are two squad positions that you free up straight away. You then have a conversation. What are we doing at centre-back? I think they probably won't look to buy a centre-back this summer. I think they'll just factor in Luka Vuskovic to be a part of that centre-back room, which I get and I don't mind that now. Left back is an area that I do have concern. If Reguilon's going, replace the Reguilon with, a good player. That would be massively beneficial to a Destiny Udogie. There's quite a bit that needs to happen this summer. What are you going to do with those three young strikers, Valise, Scarlett, and Lancashire? Factor that in. More on Angel Gomes. Gimme Sport doubling down with a couple of little bits, saying that Tottenham now looks set to face heavy competition for Angel Gomes with Manchester United, Villa, and West Ham among those entering the race. Obviously, he's out on a free this summer. His contract will finish this summer. I'm looking to kind of see what happens with the England squad coming up. Is he going to be in the England squad? Because obviously he was in there because of Lee Carsley. I don't know if he will continue to be in there, if I'm honest. I feel like that was maybe more of a Lee Carsley thing. Obviously, I've noticed recently as well, he is not starting at Lille as much as everyone would have thought. Obviously, you got Jonathan David there. What's a conversation surrounding Richarlison? Are you moving Richarlison on and going, is Tell the Richarlison replacement? There's that you have to have that conversation about as well. Sane news. What about it? Hi, Andy. United want and need everyone and will still be a basket case with Amorim. Which manager says, I don't know what to do? Man United is a club that needs to work up downwards. Figure out what the hell they're doing in terms of, the people that own the club and things like that. Work downwards, because the issue is the things that are going so poorly in the club really stem from higher up. It doesn't, like Ten Hag was, one of the most exciting managers before he came in. Amorim, one of the most exciting managers before he came in. You think Louis van Gaal was, one of the best managers over the last 2 decades. Mourinho, the same. There's so many managers that have, Ollie's gone to Besiktas and done quite well. There's so many managers that have gone in there and the job looks too big for them. And I don't think on paper it is. I think when you actually look at it, there's too many issues above them that they can't work over, Pep could go in there. Klopp could go in there. Fergie could go back in there. I don't think Fergie now, with Fergie 10 years ago, no, maybe 15 years ago, Fergie then wouldn't be able to handle this job now. That's how bad this job has gotten. There's too many issues. The wage bill, the debt, all that. I mean, the fact that they need to sort out a stadium. Old Trafford is, something that requires hundreds of millions of pounds of renovation. Yeah, they're a basket case, all right. Morning, Jazz. How are you? Couldn't find the right exit that worked for Spurs and Reguilon. It's really a non-issue. Well, it is. It's not now, but it was at the start of the season. Absolutely, I would completely disagree. Would you let Ben Forster? Ben Forster's retired as a YouTuber. Forster, you would have a conversation around him going, Alfie Whiteman, obviously, yeah. I mean, XL, you can't keep getting rid of all of our academy trained players, though, because it makes our European squad weaker and weaker and weaker. You have to keep at least one or two of them. And I would keep Austin. Absolutely would keep Austin every day of the week. He'd be my third keeper. If he wants to be my third keeper, he might want to go. And ironically, Spurs could probably make some all right money out of him because of his performances this season. But he's also an academy trained player. So when it comes to Europe, he doesn't count against you. He actually counts for you. Same with Alfie Whiteman. Obviously, Austin signed that new long-term contract as well. He's got a new 5-year deal. So he's not going anywhere, I don't think. Big D, mate, how are we? What a lovely weekend that was. It's a great weekend. England won in the rugby as well. Come on. Robinson, Gittins, and Eze would be nice. It would be nice, wouldn't it? His career ender. Signed Spurs. Do you see it happening? No. Do you see Ineos don't like Fergie because of the standards he set? Bonkers, isn't it? Poirot is one of the best right back in the Prem right now. We have one of the best. Look, I find it so boring going on Twitter going, I told you so that Jed Spence was the best right back at Spurs. Brother, shut the hell up. You've got two really great right backs there. That is a position where you go, we don't need a right back. We can just rotate those two now. This idea that it must be I told you so. I told you so. I was right. Jed Spence is the best right back in the world. It's like, mate, you don't care enough about Spurs. You care about being right. And there's a real big issue there, to be honest. Got those two guys. I'm happy at right back and rotate them. And I don't really care who starts from now on, to be honest, because I think if they are rotating them, great. The quality of performances between the two of those guys will be fantastic. The fact you factor in that Destiny Doggy's over at the left back position, which Destiny was great against Ipswich. And you could tell Sonny was better with a Doggy because of the fact he's left-footed. The ball gets progressed further the ball gets progressed quicker because the ball curves into play. The ball doesn't curve out of play because Spencer's right-footed. And that's not a dig at Spence. I do really like him, by the way. I'm just saying. Luke, how are you, mate? Have you ever watched Munich last season, this season? I've watched Munich this season quite a lot. We have a lot of academy goalkeepers. But yeah, not all of them count as academy trained players. Stop buying players rejected by their current employers. Where do you see Donnelly, Yang, Alfie next season? Jazz, ask me more on the loan roundup. We'll do it then. Give me time to think. But there we go. Right, moving on because we've still got so much more to talk about. Okay, we got to get through Man City preview. So look, Man City 7:30 on Wednesday night. A situation where Spurs could do something you might think is a little bit unthinkable and winning 3 games in one season against Manchester City. Obviously, having beaten them 4-0 away and obviously beating them 2-1 at home in the EFL Cup. Spurs at home, obviously, for this game. And, City obviously didn't look good against Liverpool last night. There's too many people talking about how good City were, and I was like, how good Liverpool were. And I was like, yeah, no, they were good. I mean, we went there and won 4-0. So, I don't think people talked about that enough, if I'm honest. But look, to give you some stats and figures, following their 4-0 win in the reverse fixture, Spurs are looking to do the league double over Manchester City for the first time since the 21-22 season. They last did so without conceding in the 09-10 season. So look, we could do a double, first time in years. We do it without conceding. That's the first time in over a decade and a half. Having lost their first 4 Premier League games at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium without scoring a single goal, Man City won this exact fixture 2-0 last season. So, 5 games, 2 goals scored. Tottenham have already beaten Man City twice this season, 4-0 in the Premier League, 2-1 in EFL Cup. The last team to win 3 games in a campaign against the reigning English champions was Man United against Man City in 2019-2020. The last time Spurs did so was against Liverpool in the 84-85 season. This is a great start. I loved this one. Tottenham have beaten Manchester City twice and Manchester United 3 times in all competitions this season. No team has ever beaten both Manchester sides 3 times each in the same campaign before. So Spurs could be doing something really historical there. Manchester City have failed to win any of their last 3 Premier League away games against London sides, drawing 2, losing 1, having won 6 in a row before this. So, look, Man City coming in here, maybe not the greatest of form. I get that. 1 win in their last 3. Spurs have got 3 in a row. This, I think we need to still have that conversation that this is still, on their day, one of the best teams in the world. Okay? It still is. Hi, mate. England beat half a strength. A win's a win. Doesn't matter, sticks. Peter, how are you? Rest of matters as well. If we're serious, we think about stop buying risers and start buying some risers, not the other way around. Okay. We need a player who does not depend on others' form. We need a player like Cunha who can carry it. What a goal that was at the weekends. Yang, you're talking about sticks. Man City, no, look, more importantly, back to them. Man City is still Man City. We need to just keep reminding ourselves of that. I see it too much on Twitter. People seem to think Man City are a basket case. They're no good. They're super average. This is a team that you can get. This is a team that's still Manchester City. If I'm correct, they've still got Erling Haaland. If I'm correct, they've still got, £100 million left back. They've got hundreds of millions pounds poured into this team. They've got a £75 million new signing in Oscar in Marmoush. Nico Gonzalez is now there. They got the PFA Player of the Year last season and Phil Foden. I think we need to just remind ourselves this is still a pretty good team. Okay. And yes, when we won 4-0 away earlier this season, it was a bit confusing because we hadn't been very good around that period. And we beat them in the cup. I get that. And we do have a lot of success with Man City. I get that as well. We are one of their kryptonites. Nobody can truly understand as to why we are, but we are. But if you're looking at this season, right? So Man City are 11 points ahead of us and they're in 4th. So they're in the Champions League spot. We're down in 12th on 33. So they're 11 points clear. You win this game, you got 8 points behind them. And when I told everyone, don't give up on the idea that Europe cannot happen this season, I still think Europe can happen. You're 10 points behind 6th. Okay, that's Bournemouth. 7th at Chelsea, again 10 points. Newcastle 5th, and that's 11 points. And with a win, technically with a win, you don't climb any positions because you're 4 points behind 11th. But a win here, you're 8 points behind Man City with 11 games to go. That's a lot of football still to be played. There's a lot of points still to play for. And when you factor in the fact we played Bournemouth in the first Premier League game post internationals and FA Cups, all I'm saying is it's not an international. I'm being an idiot. There's FA Cup this weekend, isn't it? But yeah, post this little break that we have, you've got AZ Alkmaar on the 6th, right? And you've got Bournemouth on the 9th. Bournemouth being 10 points clear of us. If you were to win that game, right, and you were to win this game, there's a possibility that you actually go 4 points behind Bournemouth, which that's why I'm saying that the league is not done. The league is not over. We need to make sure that we're with the mindset that we're still playing a lot of meaningful football this year. I think Slot is the only manager in the Premier League to a double. Ange, Arnie Holmer, I show you a treble gets Pep. That's what we do. Reports say Frimpong is ready to listen offers that we won't be going for Jeremy Frimpong. We won't be going for Jeremy Frimpong. It wouldn't shock me if Real Madrid go for him. A sextuplet against Manchester. Vibes, mate. Vibes. But look, there's that awesome stats on Manchester City. Obviously, when we look at Man City's form leading into this game, the last 5, they win 2-1 away to Leyton Orient. They lose to Real Madrid at home. They beat Newcastle 4-0, lose to Real Madrid away, and lose to Liverpool at home. So, they win against Leyton Orient, who are a League One side. They beat Newcastle, who are 5th. They lose all the other games. And I get it's Real Madrid and Liverpool. They lose to Arsenal the game before Leyton Orient 5-1. They aren't coming in here with a ton of form. There are some injury issues. I get that. Spurs have injury issues as well. So I'm not going to give them the benefit of the doubt on their injury issues. They've got their squad's worth double ours. I'm not going to give them the benefit of the doubt. No one seems to give us the benefit of doubt. So might have to stop giving anyone else the benefit of the doubt, because if we're not going to get it with 12 players out, I'm not going to give it to teams that have 3 or 4 players out. My sympathy is at an all-time low in terms of that. City, though, this is a key thing that we'll bring in here. City played Wednesday night and they played yesterday. Spurs played Saturday and didn't play in midweek. So Spurs are going to be so much more rested come this game than Manchester City are going to come into this game. When you look at the Liverpool game and who played, Ederson was in goal, Gvardiol, Ake, Kusanov, and Rico Lewis, with Gonzalez, De Bruyne, and Foden, with Savio, Marmoush, and Doku. On the bench, came off the bench. Coming off the bench. Mateus Nunes, £60 million midfielder sitting on the bench. Bernardo Silva didn't come off the bench. Jack Grealish, £100 million player, didn't come off the bench. Ilkay Gundogan, Mateo Kovacic, Ruben Dias, somehow winning player of the year over Harry Kane. Forever, I will be disgusted with that decision that they made. It showed a lack of ball knowledge by them. You still have Stefan Ortega on the bench, Vita Reis, the new centre-back signing. So their bench still had a lot of options on there. So when I talk about, they're going to be missing Rodri, I get that. I feel for you. I do. But when you still have all these other players that you can play, I don't really want to hear about it anymore because Spurs are missing their main two centre-backs and their two strikers. You factor in the players that have come back that aren't fully fit yet. You see where my concern level is for them. I mean, so they're missing Rodri at the moment. John Stones is going to be out. Akanji, they reckon, is going to be out. Oscar Bob, he should be back pretty soon, actually, thinking about it. And Erling Haaland, what they said about Erling Haaland, or what Pep said about Erling Haaland, sorry. He's in his post-match press conference, he said that Erling Haaland was still feeling the effects of the knock that forced him off against Newcastle the weekend previous. He said that Erling trained yesterday. The images we have done are fine, but he has discomfort walking and, for example, on stairs. We spoke yesterday and this morning. He said he didn't feel good and didn't feel ready to play. That sounds like a guy that is going to play this week against Spurs. Haaland's in the conversation. A lot of players better than him. Salah, Gaz. Well, I mean, I'm not going to talk too much about players that played 20, 30 years ago than him. If we get 55 points, that's 8th position. Historically, about 7 wins the next 12. It's not crazy to say. Kane is a much better player than Haaland. Agreed. If we win the Europa Cup, don't Spurs get... Yeah, they do. Who would be my top priority signing? No idea right now. Excel, bud. Remind me tomorrow and I'll have a think about it. City were average yesterday. Second half, it was like watching a pre-season training match. Liverpool went in there and they did their job. Liverpool at times got on the ball and played their stuff. They sat back. They countered. Liverpool played multiple different games within a game. And City, for all the possession that they had, how much did they have? They had 67% possession. What did they really create? Liverpool, morning, Aldente, sorry, how are you, mate? Liverpool would have scored a third if Diaz hadn't been bailed out by Kusanov after he got beaten. Stunningly overrated centre-back. Diaz relies on other defenders. Actually defending, he just passes the ball. Yeah, I'm not blown away by Diaz. I've always actually said recently, I thought Akanji's their best centre-back personally. I don't know if that's outrageous to say, but I think Akanji might be their best centre-back. I actually rate him quite a bit. He's decent with the ball. He's athletic, good in the air. Plays a bit of right back, plays a bit of CDM when necessary, I think I'd rather him start, Stone start, maybe even Ake. Kusanov, obviously, I really rate. Obviously, he will become very good. Just give him time. Yeah. My summer sign, okay. Cunha, Hincapié and Uzo. Well, yeah, I mean, that's all of that. Ryan, how are you? Haaland's never been the best striker in the world. I'd probably say Haaland, his first season at City, would have been considered that, yeah. After his take on debut against Chelsea, Kusanov is solid for good athleticism. Yeah. No, I rate Kusanov a lot. Someone that we wanted here at Spurs, and I rated him. So look, there's that team for City. I mean, when you think about their team, Edison in goal, Gavardio, Diaz maybe starts. Either Ake or Diaz, Kusanov maybe. Even if they go Ake and Diaz, they're more than welcome to. Rico Lewis at right back, probably, yeah. Spurs aren't the biggest team, so they don't need to play a back line of 4 centre-halves. They'll probably get Rico Lewis playing right back, which Heung-min Son, enjoy yourself. We'll try to at least. Nico Gonzalez in the midfield with Kovacic, probably. With Bernardo Silva, I'd say. I think they'll drop De Bruyne. Savio will start. Savio's had some success against Spurs. He's looked good against us. I think Savio. I think they'll go Grealish, and if Haaland can go, Haaland will go. If not, then it'll be Marmoush. I mean, anyway, Marmoush might play left wing instead of Grealish. What a burden that must be. I think that will be the City team. For Spurs, obviously, I don't think you'll see any strikers back of Richarlison and Solanke. I think Romero and Van der Ven will still be missing. Obviously, we know about Radu Dragic. He'll obviously not be playing. Werner may be back. I'll wait and see what Ange says over the next couple of days. If anyone did come through this game with any injuries or anything or knocks like that, you'd expect Davies to be back, and I'd expect Davies to start. I thought Gray was good, but, if a guy can play centre back, you play that guy over the guy that's a centre midfield / right back. So my team would be Vicario in goal. I would play Destiny Doggy. Actually, maybe I'd play Spence at left back and play Porro. Spence with dealing with Savio, maybe. But also Destiny has only just come back from injury. And he was out for a while. I mean, he came off in, let me double check, the 65th minute. He got 65 minutes. So fair play. Fair play. I would probably go Spence and Porro, if I'm honest. And then Destiny on the bench. There's no need to give him too many minutes straight off the bat. I then think centre backs Danso and Davies. Danso was mega against Ipswich. I think something fairly similar will be in order. Midfield wise, I mean, Bentancur and Kulu played the full 90, but you'd expect Maddison to come back in. Maddison's going to be mega for this game. The ability to get on the ball, the ability to pick up a foul here and there if necessary. But also, I reckon in these games, we've had issues. Like when Kulu's been the creative player, Kulu doesn't get on the ball as well as Maddison. He gives the ball away a lot. And that always, in that position, puts such a pressure on the rest of the team. Hence why in these sort of games, I'd rather Kulu out on the right wing. He defensively tracks back and works hard, but play Maddison in the midfield. Will they go? I mean, Pape obviously had a bit of a knock last weekend. He didn't play at all. Basuma did play a few minutes. Will they change it from Bergvall and Bentancur? Yeah, I mean, let me double check when Bergvall got substituted. When did he get substituted? I think it was late on, wasn't it? Yeah, 85th minute. So Biss came on in the 85th minute. Look, Bergvall can go again. I'm going Bergvall again. I thought Bergvall was great against Ipswich. I would go again with Bergvall. I'd probably go Bentancur, to be fair. I thought that was a much better performance from Bentancur. He did play a full 90, though. So will he be dropped? Well, dropped is not the right word, sorry. Rotated with a Basuma? Maybe. Will Pape come in for Bergvall? I would hope not. I'd rather Pape feel like I'd play Bergvall. I would bring Pape on for like the last 20, 30 minutes and just go, Pape, empty the tank, headless chicken, run around and cause havoc. And I think City are kind of going to go, God, it's the 70th minute. This guy is a Duracell bunny. Mate, can he just get away from me? Because he's causing us so much havoc with his press. That's the way I would go. Johnson, I thought, obviously, Johnson scored a goal. He's only just come back from injury. I mean, Johnson came off in the 64th minute. So Johnson got some good minutes in his legs. They might go Johnson. Johnson's had some good success with Gvardiol, so they might go that route. And maybe they rest Kulusevski. Maybe that's what they do. Maybe they go, Kulu's not going to start this game. If Kulu can start and he's good to go, then right wing is where I'd have him. I'd have Sonny and Tell up front. Again, a lot of that for me is my thinking of keep the three guys in Son, Tell, and Kulu building that chemistry. It helps Tell to settle and it gets easier for him. But I would go that route personally. Yeah. So I think Maddison, Bentancur, Bergvall, Son, Tell, and Kulu. Again, my thinking is, even though like your Destinies and your Johnsons got 60 odd minutes last weekend, you are also only playing a few days later. Let's not try and run them into the ground now. Let's build them back slowly. You have options to ease them back as well. So yeah, I think that's the way I would go about it. I'm still Eze and Boemo. Fair enough. Man City team. Oh, so you reckon, right? Steve reckons Vicario, Porro, Danso, Gray, Spence, Bentancur, Maddison, Bergvall, Kulu, Telson. So you reckon Gray's going to start of Davies? Interesting. I think we might get a surprise return of Romero, hence Danso playing on the left this weekend. Just thinking. Just have to start a rumour somehow. Spurs 2, City 1. Jake reckons 7-2 Spurs. City play a high line. They do. Hence why Johnson always has a lot of success. Time for Andy to set his clock 5-0. Yeah, here we go. Steve, it's death taxes and you saying 5-0 Spurs. Spurs could have 12 players out and Steve will still give me, we're playing prime Barcelona. Yeah, I'll take 5-0 Spurs. Kulu always enjoys success against City when he plays. That cross in the away league match, Gray ahead of Davies, in my opinion. Yeah, I see why people would want Gray, but I like the idea of the left back playing out from the back. It's easier, especially when if I'm going to factor in the fact that Destiny Doggy's not going to be there. It allows you to open up the pitch a bit more. Also, Davies is the better defender as well. He's much better in the air, which I think is, I mean, when you factor in the fact that City play 3 centre-backs, Haaland, Gonzalez is not a small fella either. They're going to be dangerous at set pieces. That's why I want as much of a set piece help as possible. And Davies is that. Danso, by the way, seems to be a bloody monster in the air. Seems defensive corners, he seems to get his head on that ball all the time. Bentancur's been good as well from defending set pieces. That's been really helpful. Hence why Spurs have had a lot more success this year at defending set pieces. Although our returning defenders, I want to start seeing Gray in midfield. It will come. Johnson only as a super sub, never as a starter. Well, as a starter last weekend, mate, I don't know if you saw it. He looked pretty damn good. So, yeah, I think that's where we go there. Right, score predictions. Let me create a poll. I want you to tell me, vote in the poll, and then you can tell me what your scoreline is going to be. All right. Predictions, a little win, a little draw, and of course, that deadly loss. Let's see what you think in that poll. Then I'm going to give you what I think. Obviously, City is just one of those weird games where they're not in good form. We're in a bit of good form. Is it going to be like last season where they, regardless of the situation, we weren't very good? Is it going to be like the first game this season where I don't think either team were very good, but obviously they had rotated a bit. So I think, that maybe could factor into that 2-1 win. Or is it going to be like Man City away this season where we go in there and we just kick the crap out of them for 90 minutes and, we win 4-0? Not too sure. Adante reckons 4-1. Spurs like 3-2. Danso and Kuti monsters. It will be John Cena 5. You can't see this. Jesus Christ. As long as our supporters actually get behind us this time, they will. Don't you worry, my friend. 3-2. Sonny, Matters, and Johnson. Jacob reckons 5-0 win. Hat-trick from Vic. We will be there. If Vic scores a hat-trick, Jacob, I will do ungodly things on stream just to give a vibe out. I don't know what I'd do, but do something. 2-1. 2-1. Who's 2-1 to? I don't know football and Bazza. 2-1 to who? I don't know who you're talking about. Is it Man City? Is it Spurs? But looking at the poll, the majority think we're going to win. How mental is that? If you had spoken to, if we had done this poll about a month ago, there's no way win would have 88%, 90% now. I think that would be like 50 to 60% because you still have the optimists here. And I think you'd get a lot higher in the loss. And you factor in that obviously Spurs a little bit healthier, hitting some form, 7-1 aggregate over the last few games. City, not with good form, having some injury issues. It's fascinating. Fascinating. We're at home. Yes, we are. Spurs, of course, fair enough. No, I won't be wearing a shirt like that. Oh, God, no. If Vic gets a hat-trick, I'll run around Newcastle, New South Wales naked for a week. No, it might not happen now. Well, no one wants to see that, Steve. God, no one wants to see that. Look, I think Spurs win this. I think it will be 3-2 Spurs. City are a team that have issues with conceding goals at the moment. I mean, tell you what, factor in this, right? This is mental. City are in 4th, right? They've scored 52 and conceded 37. Spurs are in 12th. They've scored 53. So we've scored one more and we conceded 38. We've conceded one more with the same goal difference as 4th at 15. I mean, we're in 12th plus 15. The teams above us are +5, +3, +4, -2, -12. -2, 12, 14, 10, 15, which is Man City, 11, which is Nottingham Forest in 3rd. We're +15. And if we had a centre back maybe at the start of January, we'd actually be multiple points better off. 2-1 Spurs with us winning with a penalty in the 93rd minute taker. Well, it'll be Son. If Son's still on the pitch, it'll be Son. If not, Vic has to take it because Just vibes. Manchester is ours. Manchester is ours. We're Tottenham Hotspur. Manchester's ours. Month of guide say loss. That's the thing. It's weird how football works, isn't it? But look, just looking at the stats, we score more goals than Manchester City. They have Erling Haaland, the £100 million Jack Grealish, a £75 million Marmoush, 60 million Doku, Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva. I could go on and on and on. The level of players they have, Spurs have scored more goals than this season. We conceded one less. They spent, 60 million on Diaz, 50 million on Stones. They had Walker at the start of the season with 50 million. Gavardio, 100 million. Nathan Ake, 40 odd million. I mean, Kusov's 40 odd million. They spent and we're one worse than them. And we've been playing Archie Gray and Ben Davies at centre back for quite a bit at that time. I just can't believe that. That's just ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, we've conceded less than Brentford, the same as Brighton, less than Villa, two more than Chelsea, two more than Newcastle, one more than City. It's what weird old season Spurs are having. You know what I mean? And let's end that poll. By the looks of things, we're all pretty confident, which is good. But we'll see. Look, it's a weird old season this year. That's why I'm saying don't give up on the league. You win this game. And all I'm saying is, when I said we're lurking, we're no longer lurking. We're smashing down the door and saying, oi, we're here now. Come on. Let's pull up that chair. I'll have a pint of Guinness and I will split the G straight away because that's how I do it. That's why I think winning this game and beating Bournemouth, that league table will look so much different. Like I said, winning that game, let me look at the Bournemouth fixtures. I mean, they're going to be like Zabani. Again, they're away at Brighton tomorrow. So Brighton and Bournemouth, if they were to draw, right? They were to draw. Bournemouth would be on 44. Brighton would be on 41. Spurs will win be on 36. You'd be 5 points behind Brighton. You'd be 8 points behind Bournemouth. You beat Bournemouth, you're 5 points behind them. And they're in 6th. Hence why I'm saying don't give up on the league. There's so much more still to play for. And that's why I am positive about this league, even though what has happened, and it's not good. It's not good at the moment. But that league table, like I said, can change real quickly. By the end of March, Spurs could be right in that mix. And we'd be sitting there going, well, things go away a little bit. And 5th might be an extra Champions League spot. Could we? Now, I don't think we will. I think it'll be a Europa League, Conference League kind of situation. But you never know. Spurs were so poor for so long. They've won 3 in a row. And they're on the coattails already. A good month. I'm just saying a good month where you win maybe the next 3 of 4. That league table again will start to really change. You factor in the fact we play Fulham away. You factor in Bournemouth at home. You factor in Bournemouth are playing Brighton. You factor in a lot of those teams in and around that sort of 4th to 10th region. They all play each other quite soon. And Spurs, just trudging along, doing their thing. Go, oh, hello. Oh, we're in here now. We're above some of these teams. And just saying. We've had our 2 starting centre-backs out since the first week of October as well. Apart from Doku and Savio, City look good yesterday. Brighton's going to win. No one's truly safe except for Liverpool. But look, some really good stuff there. Get in your comments down below, obviously, what you're thinking about. God, I've just seen something stupid about Manchester United. I'll talk about it another day. But no, thank you so much, obviously, for joining me this morning. Obviously, back tomorrow for the loan roundup. Make sure you join us. We'll have some transfer news as well, because I've just spotted some that I want to bring up next time. So join me tomorrow. It'll be my birthday tomorrow, so we can have a nice, good, positive stream tomorrow. Anyway, go and enjoy the rest of your days, your mornings, your afternoons, your evenings, wherever you are in the world. Enjoy it. Look after yourselves. And I'll speak to you tomorrow to speak a little bit more about Spurs. Take care, everyone. Peace.